Hello, 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 hello? Hello. Okay, guys. Looks like I came back. I wasn't sure if I was gonna come back, but it looks like I am back with more severe weather coverage because we have an observed tornado warning in Alabama, which actually just happened. I didn't know that we had an observed warning in Alabama, but I guess we do now. So let me change the scene a little bit. I did not realize that it was observed, but okay. Let me just say, is it just one? And who knows? It is just one, I think. Yeah, it's just one. So we have one observed tornado warning in Alabama right now. It's not observed tornado warnings, it's observed tornado warning. So, that's what we're currently seeing right now. Let me just change this color. Okay. So we currently have an observed tornado warning active. Currently, we are seeing a tornado developing near Bay Minette, Alabama. That is where this tornado is currently positioned. You can see the small debris ball over here near Bay Minette. It is currently right over this route, which I don't know what... Well, we're near Kilcrease Road, but I gotta look at my phone just to see the map. I believe this is near a route in like a state route in Alabama, but like I'm not sure what that would be. Okay, I think this is route... Is it? Yeah, this is Alabama Route 225, so it's currently going directly over Alabama Route 225, heading towards, not really that direction, it's heading more towards the northeast, you can see in, like, this direction. Is it heading towards Bay Minette? It's not really heading towards Bay Minette. It's heading north of Bay Minette. It's going to be a little bit on the northwestern side, and that's about it. But we are still watching the storm to see if it does any weird occlusions or anything like that, but usually occlusions would move it more to the north, so I don't think that's going to happen, but we are seeing a tornado on the ground in Bay Minette, Alabama. So, the tornado risk does look like it's beginning. We do have a 5% in effect for this whole region, up to Charlotte, North Carolina, down to Gulfport, Mississippi. And of course, there's going to be the new outlook soon, so this is not going to last forever exactly like this, but that is what we're currently seeing. We're seeing a tornado on the ground in the 5% risk, which we did expect would eventually occur. We did expect that to eventually occur. But yeah, we also did have an observed tornado warning in Georgia, too. There was a tornado on the ground in Georgia previously. It's no longer on the ground, so thankfully we don't have to worry about that anymore. But it previously was on the ground. You can see it had a very distinct radar signature southwest of Bolingbroke, and you saw a faint CC drop over there. You saw it kind of including into the main storm again, just west of Bolingbroke. So just be aware there is tornado potential with these storms, especially due to the enhancement from Tropical Storms Arthur's Remnants, but definitely not as early as we expected. We expected this event to occur a little bit earlier, but it seems like we're now going into the nighttime with these tornado events possible. And it also isn't really the structure we imagined. This is a QLCS tornado threat more. It isn't really a super cellular threat. I think we were expecting more of a QLCS threat, honestly. But it's very interesting. We don't usually see that with Tropical Storm Remnants, but either way, here we are with Tropical Storm Remnants causing a QLCS lineup of tornadoes. So we'll stay here for as long as possible, covering whatever is needed to cover. Currently have 3 tornado warnings in effect, besides our observed warning, which is still on the ground, but it's definitely not as intense as it used to be. You can see a little bit of a couplet here, but as you switch over to correlation coefficient, it's very little CC. I mean, it could just be fallout at this point, but we don't really know. Or maybe this is fallout right here. but it's a little disconnected. So, we do have a tornado going towards the Bay Minette area. It was stronger previously, and now it's more stationary, so I think it is occluding. But yeah, just be aware of that. Be in your safe spot if you live in Bay Minette. And your safe spot is the most interior room of a sturdy building or shelter. Some sort of sturdy building, most likely. Where you put as many walls in between you and the outside world. Any connection to the outside should not be done. Any connection to the outside should not be seen if you were to walk through walls. You should not have any connection to the outside. If you were to walk through any of the walls, you should always end up through into another room. And if you live in a mobile home, make sure to evacuate immediately and move to a sturdier shelter. But yes, this is what we currently have. 3 tornado warnings in effect. It's quite sudden. It suddenly appeared on us, but our time is now for tornado warnings, it seems. We do still have this area of rotation near Stapleton. Not seeing much with it. It still exists, but it's not anything too crazy. It was more crazy back there when it was heading over the Mobile Harbor area. Out of Mobile. We still have this potentially tornado ongoing in Bay Minette. I'm not seeing a debris signature anymore, thankfully, but we still are watching the storm just in case if it redevelops or recycles. This is in a primed environment for tornadic potential. It's on the back end vortex of this little line here. You can see it right here. So it definitely has some tornado potential continuing in this area. This area isn't even under a tornado watch anymore. They might have to extend it again. It's not even in a tornado watch anymore because they thought nothing was going to happen, but I guess something did happen. Alright, we have a 4th tornado warning now over here near Donaldsonville, Georgia. And there is an area of rotation approaching near Donaldsonville, Georgia. So be aware if you live in Donaldsonville, Georgia, that does mean that you have to be in your safe spot at this point. This northeast risk is done, by the way. That's why I'm not mentioning it in my title. It's done. Everything has moved offshore. But either way, we have a tornado potentially developing near Donaldsonville, Georgia. So please, be careful if you live in Donaldsonville, Georgia, and take the proper precautions. I think this is the closest area. It's a little hard to tell because there's a bit of corruption, but it's mostly in the right spot, so you can see it's heading right for Donaldsonville. A small little supercell type thing. Part of the line, too. Still observed tornado warning in Alabama, it seems. Still an observed warning. You also do have a severe threat over here in Texas. It's not for tornadoes or anything like that. It's mostly for wind. We will see a bit of a wind event as these outflow boundaries give birth to new storms. So just be aware of that. If you live in the Dallas area, that's your risk. Fort Worth area, more likely. But that's your risk over there. I was just talking to tornadoes from yesterday because we do have quite a bit more reports coming out. There's some leaves being picked up, it seems, from the storm, but I don't think that's rotation or that's coming down to the surface. I think that's just some winds. But you can see there is some rotation with the storm near Donaldsonville, approaching towards the northeast. This is generally what we're looking at. The tornado warning in Georgia, northern Georgia that is, was expired. So now we're just looking at Mostly this whole area over here. So Atlanta, I don't think is in the risk anymore because they're past the line. But suburbs of Atlanta definitely could still be impacted if you live on the eastern side, especially Athens. Yeah, you can see this a little better from the Tallahassee radar, but I'm not sure if it's as accurate, so we'll see. Over here, it's just a little harder to tell because there's a bunch of little different colors here, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But so this is now radar indicated. Okay. So we now can breathe a sigh of relief if you're in Bay Minette. It doesn't look like the tornado went into town or anything as such. It does look like we are outside of tornado actually being on the ground in Bay Minette. So let me change the thing here. But yeah, no tornadoes on the ground yet. But I'm still watching these storms because these still have potential, of course. Still watching these storms. Let's see if we can get some cameras over here, because I know there is some cameras probably along I-65. I don't know why this camera's still up. So let's see. That's the problem. I didn't know how to get the cameras here. I don't know why I can't move. Okay, there. But let me see settings, I guess. Weird. I didn't know how to get the cameras there. Here, I'll just look I-65 Bay Minette. Is it only I-10? What? Here, I gotta check the map. I'm losing my way. Yeah, these cameras aren't really working, so we're just gonna have to wait for cameras in Georgia, because it looks like there aren't any really cameras in Alabama. But we do have a tornado warning in Georgia, so we might as well look for that, which does have this. I don't think that's anything. Let me see what the rotation is with it. I don't know, that doesn't look like much. I think that we're fine. I don't think that's anything. So let's look at the camera in Georgia. I think there is a camera near Donaldsonville. So let's see. There's a lot of cameras in Georgia. Yeah, there's one in Donaldsonville. Perfect. So let's see. This shows the sky at all. Is it down? Weird, it's down. Okay. Maybe up here works. Oh, it looks like that's also down. Well, it is also right across the border in Florida. From Florida, so let's see. Cameras. What? Okay. This would work, but it's too far away. You can see there is dark skies over here, but that's mostly because it's nighttime. This is generally in that area, but I can't find any cameras that are exactly in that area, so just bear with me for a second. But yeah, we don't have any cameras in that exact area, in any of the exact areas of this tornado warning that are active, but we probably will in the future as this heads towards Colquitt and the Bainbridge area. Well, north of the Bainbridge area, towards Newton. You also see an area of rotation actually approaching near Newton. Yeah, that is a storm, but I don't know. That doesn't look like a very tornadic storm to me, so I'm unsure if that's actually going to produce anything. Looks like a little tiny storm near Newton is trying to develop, but I don't think that's anything, honestly. It could be some rotation, but it's hard to tell. We also have this line. You can see this is much more vertically placed. You can see it's much more north to south, which is much more conducive for tornadoes. Usually if a QLCS line is like sideways, then the inflow notches will not be as conducive for tornadoes because they'll kind of be cut off because it usually moves from east to west, basically, if you're from like the Atlantic or something like that. Or like the inflow moves from into the storm from the east. So sorry about that. Over here, you can see there is some development over here with this line. I mean, I do see an area of rotation. 2 areas of rotation, basically. Right here, near Walden and Franklinton. As well as Jeffersonville. But now we only have 2 tornado warnings active. That one that was observed before is no longer active anymore. Seems. This one looks like it might get extended though, because it is re-intensifying a little. So let me change my thing a little bit. Two tornado warnings are still active right now. And there might be more coming. So just be on the lookout for that. There might be more coming. I am a little tired, but I can get through this. Still an area of rotation here near Franklinton, but it's definitely not as strong as it was before, so I'm not expecting much with it. Over here near Gray, there's a little bit of a back-end vortex happening too. So just make sure that you're aware of that. and heading close to your safe spot. Not quite in your safe spot yet, but since you're under a tornado possible severe, I would recommend staying close to your safe spot, just in case if a tornado warning is issued for that storm. So it is a back-end vortex at this point, which is usually conducive for tornadoes. Also have a bunch of special weather statements off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina. These aren't really doing much. I don't think they have any water spout potential, but be aware that there are some storms out ahead of the line. I don't think we're really expecting much out ahead of the line at this point. I gotta look at the models, but I don't think we're looking much ahead of the line. Let's look at actually our conditions. So looking at our conditions, the mesoscale conditions, meso analysis, you can get the wind shear. You can see there's definitely enough wind shear down here in the Florida Panhandle, Alabama area, southern Alabama, and western Florida, and also a lot in Georgia still. Even though where that storm near Donaldsonville is, it's not really that conducive for a tornado right now. Well, in terms of wind shear, I mean, of course, that's not going to be the only like factor that's going to cause the tornado. I just can't think today. I don't know what it is. But you can see this wind shear does move to the northeast as the system moves northeast. You can see it remains a line for the most part. Those storms out in front are not really the main concern. It's going to remain a line for the most part, but you can see there's a few storms that form on the back end that might do something. There is some wind shear on the back end. That's kind of what we saw with Louisiana earlier today. There was a tornado with that storm on the back end of the line. But we also have Cape. And it is a little strange because this is a partially capped environment, but definitely not insanely capped. That's why these storms aren't developing anything, because that's a capped environment. This line is partially capped. Let me see how it changes. It's going to be less capped as time moves on until we reach about 6 hours from now, so around 2 a.m. local time. But we still have a risk in that region. It's not zero. Oh, actually, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's like, when I click off of it, over there, it's like shows a cap. I think that's just now. But over here, there would be less of a cap at 6 hours ahead. So that's the forecast. And looking at mid-level lapse rates, it's okay. I mean, not anything amazing. There's some 6s down here, so that would work. And SRH is good, 300, so we do have the potential for a long event tonight of QLCS tornadoes, it looks like. Long tornadic event of QLCS spin-ups. So we do have an extension of this Donaldsonville storm. I'm not really seeing much rotation with it. Well, I haven't looked yet, but yeah, there isn't much rotation with it. So not sure why they did that exactly. I did see the rotation there briefly. It did exist, but now it's kind of gone to waste. It's kind of just in the storm deeply now. So I feel like you can't really say that's tornadic anymore, but it is a little tornadic, that's for sure. I mean, they issued the warning, so. Let me see if there's a way to find Alabama cameras. Because I know it's just confusing. I don't know how to get them on the map. So it's like a weather thing. Here, wait, let me. Oh, this is the wrong website, I think. That's why. Alabama. I don't know. This should be it. do I get this in the form of a map, though? That's the question. Let me try this. Yeah. Okay. This will work. Okay, I think this is about where this is. AL225. Is this road right here? No, it's this road. I think this will work. This must be AL287. It would have to... Okay, well, this is going into Florida right now, so let's just go to Florida, because this storm is ending up in Florida. I think I was looking more at the northern storm with those cameras, but this is ending up in Florida at this point. You can see the radar right here, so let me get a camera from Florida. From near McDavid and Molina. Doesn't look like there's many cameras in that area, but there is one in the I-10 area right here across the border, so there's just some rain. We're not really seeing much of the sky, so let me try to find another one. It's a truck stop. Truck stop. Interesting. This might have a view of it. Let me just keep that camera up. This might have a view of it eventually. It's looking eastbound though, so never mind. Looking eastbound. You see this? This. There's a big pole in the way. You can kind of see the sky. It's going to be really hard to spot these events also because of all the trees. So, we're watching the cameras, but I don't know. It's hard to see with all the trees. We would have to see damage from the trees in order to see any type of tornadic circulation. So, this is a little difficult, but we're going to stay on here, just covering on the radar so far. We'll see what happens as time goes on. We'll see if we need to find more cameras. But nothing's on the ground right now. It's just 3 tornado warnings active right now. The SBC outlook should be coming out soon, the new one. So we'll see how that plays out. This is now totally in Florida, the tornado warning. It's now only encompassing McDavid, Florida. So, if you live in Florida, specifically, I forget this county's name. I actually don't know the county's name, my bad. Wait, let me see. It's probably like Molino County or something, I don't know. Or David County, I don't know. Oh, it's the county of Pensacola. Okay, I think I remember that. It's Escambia. So, if you live in Escambia County, Florida, in this specific area of the polygon, just be aware there's a potential tornado coming to you. Just be aware of that. Head to your safe spot immediately. And this, weird. We have like 2 rotations going on right here. You see this, you see this. So there might be potentially 2 tornadoes trying to develop over here, and not quite yet 2 tornadoes, but like it's a signature that would indicate 2 tornadoes are trying to develop, so just be aware of that. There might be a double tornado threat with this, but definitely not anything insane. There's nothing on the ground, of course. Okay, so we do have a tornado warning here in northern Georgia now, near Milledgeville. Well, it's kind of northern Georgia. It's more central Georgia, but you get the point. It's a radar indicated tornado warning, so now let me bump up my tornado warnings to 4. Still at 2. Okay, I don't think I was muted the entire time. I think I just muted myself right now, actually, so that was my bad. I hope not. Wait. No, I wasn't muted. Never mind. I mean, this rotation here near McDavid is trying to intensify. I don't think it was ever two tornadoes trying to develop. It just looked like it for a second, but it's trying to become potentially a tornado, one tornado over here in McDavid. But nothing's developed yet, so just be aware of that. Just be aware of that storm system. It's trying to develop a tornado, but not quite there yet. Just be in your safe spot. I'm unsure if we're going to see anything, like, develop out of this line. Like, out ahead of this line. I mean, I gotta look at the models. Oh, there's an interesting area of rotation near Cottondale, but it's basically with no storm. Okay, never mind then. That basically had no rotation with it. Well, it did have rotation with it, but it was just such a tiny storm, it would have been impossible to see rotation with that. Let me look at the models. Oh, that's my bad. And let me see how this event progresses. It is mostly the line, it looks like. Which makes sense. There is those storms on the backside. Let me just see those conditions. Wait, let me show this again. There is these storms on the backside. Let me just see those conditions, because I don't know if there's still going to be conditions in place for that. I feel like that's a little bit too far behind, but we'll see. The most unstable cape is kind of gone there, so I don't think so. Mixed layer cape. Yeah, it's mostly the line that's taking up everything. Unless if we can get something to develop in front of the line, I don't think we're going to have a strong tornado threat, even though we weren't really expecting that, so I don't think we're going to see that. Just a QLCS tornado threat for the ages. I don't know why I said that, but, like, yeah. And you can see there is a bit of a threat tomorrow as we go into tomorrow morning. Let me just charge my computer real quick. I need to get the battery. I'm back. So we still have 4 tornado warnings in effect. I don't think any of them are observed still. But we still have this threat ongoing.